Coming in, you guys, it's day number 83 of my 365-day Jimmy Ice Bath Challenge. Edit here every day doing these ice bath challenges. Hope you guys have been enjoying these. I have been very much enjoying getting into an ice bath every single day, showing you how you can get into ice and you will survive. If I'm proving nothing else, I am proving that you can get into very cold water on a daily basis and it's not going to kill you. You might feel like you're dying, but it's not going to kill you. And so it's been a lot of fun so far, you guys. I have learned so much in this process. And one of the things that I have learned is what I want to talk to you about today once I'm in there. Ice baths have actually taught me how to breathe again. And that might sound a little bit weird because you're like, Jimmy, we all breathe. No, I'm not talking about where you're just like subconsciously breathing and your body's doing it naturally for you. I'm talking about being deliberate with your breath. This ice bath, getting into this every single day, has taught me that value of going back to the breath again. So I want to talk about that when I'm in there. But let's set you guys down, tilt you down so you can see all the action. And I think that's centered. About as centered as it's going to get. There we go. 5 minutes on the clock. And let's rock this thing. I did turn the temperature up so that I wouldn't have near as much ice. I still got a lot of ice, but it's less than it was yesterday. There's ice stuck behind my back and it's getting annoying. Okay, you guys, so one of the things that I did not do well prior to doing this ice bath challenge was conscientiously breathe. Now, again, that sounds kind of rudimentary. Jimmy, we all breathe. What are you talking about? I'm not just talking about where your body breathes on its own, because if we had to remember to breathe, we might all die. So what I am talking about is being purposeful with the breath, especially in those situations where the breath can calm you down. So you guys watch me get into this ice bath every single day, and the very first thing I do is I turn to my breath. I actively breathe in through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth. And I do that over and over and over again for about 1.5 in the last few days, 2 minutes when I first get in. And the purpose of that is to calm my brain, calm my body, and make this more tolerable. If I sat here and just held my breath, do you know what would happen? Well, number one, I might pass out, but number two, the cold would be more intense. The reason I'm able to handle this cold so well is because I'm relaxing my body and my brain with my breath. Now, breath work is not new. Meditation uses breath work. Yoga uses breath work and focuses in on the breath. There's a lot of healing practices that use the breath strategically to calm your mind, body, and soul. And so I have found doing all of these ice baths that this has been one of the bigger benefits, that when I'm not in the ice bath, I find myself deep breathing. I find myself breathing very deeply through the nose and then exhaling out the mouth. I find myself just doing that throughout the day, noticeably. And even when I'm in the bed and I'm trying to relax and go to sleep, I'm noticing it's a really cool feeling to think that doing something like this is training your brain that when you need to relax, I'm sorry, I can't see the clock, so I keep having to tilt my head. When you train your brain to breathe, it makes you want to breathe. Imagine that, right? But it's a cool little perk and process of all this. All right, I need to go under the water. I just scared one of my chickens. One of my chickens is right there, and when I screamed, she jumped a mile. Sorry, little chickie, I didn't mean to scare you. Yes. Yes, but that breath, guys, I never would have believed the value of breath near to the level that I do had I not started to do these ice baths. These ice baths have put on my radar screen how little I was actually breathing and breathing well. And I feel like most of us probably don't breathe well. And ironically, I think this is why when people first start getting into a cold shower, and definitely into an ice bath, the reason people freak out and the reason people say they don't like it, it's not so much the cold, it's the fact they have not trained themselves to breathe. And so a lot of the cold therapy ice bath coaches, which I could easily be one now, a lot of them will prepare people to get into the cold simply by having them focus on their breath and look inwardly. A lot of kind of mindfulness practices. And I've got a lot of friends that are in that space who are doing that kind of thing. And I see the value in it for sure. I didn't need to have somebody like that when I started, because by the time I started doing ice baths, I had been doing cold therapy for several years. But you just get into the cold and you almost naturally just start breathing. You just start naturally kind of really just adding in those breaths. And we've talked about this before, that you can breathe in various ways. The very aggressive Wim Hof, you can, not that fast, but that's what it is. You're breathing in fast, you're blowing out fast. That's a little aggressive for me. I don't need it that aggressive. I like the slow, methodical. There's even some people that do that. They breathe in, then they hold it for a few seconds, and then they breathe out. There's many ways to breathe, but find one of them that will work for you. And then when you're not in the ice bath, now you have a modality in your arsenal for when you get stressed, when life gets tough, when situations arise, and you need to turn to your breath to calm you down. You got it. You've done this. You know how to do that. All right, let's see who all's here today. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. Carrie, Linda, Cornell, Mr. Broster, Kathy, Susan, Nancy, Roxana, Beach Tea, Gabby, Sharon. Gabby says, hi, Jimmy. Hello, Gabby. RT Helen, I can't do some of these. So you know who you are. Sharon says number 83. Yes, day 83. Rocking and rolling. Melissa's here. Roxana says, how long before sleep is it best to go into a cold shower or ice bath? I need to get better sleep. Well, that's going to vary from person to person. I know you don't want to hear that question, but if you're just doing a quick little 2 minutes in the shower doing cold, I would think you could do that within an hour of your sleep. And some people do it right before they go to sleep. I think that's a little too jarring. Right before you go to sleep, it might actually produce some adrenaline, which may make getting to sleep harder. But if you do it about an hour ahead of time and then take you some magnesium with it, which I'll do while I'm here and thinking about it, take you some magnesium, really any other kind of supplements that you like to take. And then maybe a little CBD oil, which is my routine. I do magnesium, CBD oil, and ice baths. And that's how I get my sleep. So I'm doing my ice bath at 5 o'clock. I have been going to sleep because the time change has really kind of messed up my sleep a little bit, because I was used to going to sleep at 7:30 or so. Now lately it's been like 8:30, just because my body hasn't fully adjusted from the time change just yet. So I will be asleep within a few hours, let's just put it that way. And doing this ice bath helps to facilitate that. Miss Chantal is here, Cherish is here, Veronica, Christina, Wookie. Wookie says, that's week 4 of carnivore done. Good job. Proud of you. That's awesome. Saker is here, Ishad is here, Texas Livingston's here. Roxana says that ice looks really impressive. Yeah, yesterday, guys, if you watched yesterday's video, day 82, I had so much ice in there, I could barely get my body in because there was so many big chunks of ice. Now remember, this is the Morozco Forge. It makes its own ice. And because people are always like, where do you get those big chunks of ice? And I'm like, the Morozco Forge, it makes it. So I turned up the heat on the Morozco Forge today into the mid 30s. And it melted some of those pieces of ice in there. So what was in there today was about half of what was in there yesterday, and there was still a lot in there today. Cherish says hello to Jimmy and the chicks. Yes, they're out there. Vicky's here. J Mark is here. Jules, Lucy, Mad Hugh, Carol, Nutrient Dense Tea. So yes, you guys, if you just showed up, day number 83 of my 365-day Jimmy Ice Bath Challenge. Been getting into a 32-degree temperature ice bath every single day this year. I only missed one day. The day I had my birthday party, I missed that day. And then there was one other day where I blacked out when I was fasting, and I did not feel well enough to get into the ice bath. So other than that, I have been in an ice bath every single day for at least 5 minutes. What was it? Last week I did one 10-minute session, and then I recently did a 5-minute session, got out for about 10-15 minutes and went back in for a 5-minute session. And I was just thinking today it'd be fun to do that again, but then do it indefinitely. Like get in for 5 minutes, get out for 10 minutes, get in for 5 minutes, get out for 10 minutes, get in, and just so forth and so on. How many rounds of that could I do? So I need to do that on like a Saturday and like start early, like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. That way, if I end up going for an hour doing that, I don't know if I'd make an hour. I don't know how many rounds of that I could do. Well, I guess it would have to be an hour because I'd be in 5 minutes, then I'd be out 10 minutes, so that's 15 minutes. So 4 rounds of that is an hour. I think I could do more than 4 rounds. I think I would just get exhausted of just getting in and out and in and out and in and out. So, but that is the plan. Hello, Alex. Hello, Leslie. So yes, today I talked about how the benefit that I've gotten from this ice bath challenge so far, one of the big ones is I have learned how to breathe. And I mean, in situations where you would normally get uptight, be upset, You learn how to breathe in an ice bath because it's a stressor. Remember that when you're putting your body into a cold shower or into an ice bath, you're literally stressing your body. Now, it's a controlled stress. It's what's called a hormetic stress. You're purposeful in stressing your body to teach your body how to be more resilient, how to be more strong. And so one of the practices that makes you resilient and strong is that breath. So, and I would even encourage you, if you've never done any cold therapy before, work on the breath first. Start practicing deep, meaningful, refreshing breath work. Then when you get into an ice bath, it's nothing. It's just, you guys watch me when I get in. That's the first thing I do. I go right to the breath. Now I may have a little bit of, when I first go in, trying to catch my breath a little bit, but then once I'm in there, I immediately go right to the methodicalness of it. And that's such the key. And I know you're looking at me and going, Jimmy, you make that look easy. That's not easy. I know. But I promise you can get there. I promise you there's nothing special about me that lets me do this and make it look easy. I promise you could get right there too. 3 years ago, I was you. 3 years ago, I was such a wuss about cold water in a shower. And I was timid about it. And I was like, what are they talking about? Take a cold shower. Ugh. Unless it was hot outside, like I'd mow the grass and I'd be really overheated from mowing the grass, I'd go into the cold shower and I would do that. And that felt good. But what if you're not that hot? And what if you just want to get the benefits of this? What do? You've got to learn to tolerate it. And the way you learn to tolerate it, breath. The way you learn to tolerate life's circumstances when they come up, breath. And so that's been a big one for me. You guys are quiet on me today. No comments about this topic today. It is something that I'm really super glad that I'm learning, and I'm continuing to adapt as well. Like, I don't have to breathe nearly as shallow when I first get in, because when you first get in to a cold shower or to an ice bath, you're going to have that where you really kind of freak out a little bit. I don't have those freak out moments anymore. I just kind of go in and go, okay, that's cold, and then just start breathing. And it gets better. I can tell you verifiably, it gets better with time. You will continue to improve if you just keep working on it. And I hope that's encouraging to you guys. Why do you choose 5 o'clock for the bath? What are the advantages? Thank you, Leslie. And I've talked about this before. For me, it's totally about the sleep. I do these at 5 o'clock Eastern time. And I'm typically in the bed somewhere around 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Lately, a little bit later because of the time change, and the sun doesn't actually fully go down till after 8 o'clock sometimes. And so for me, I do them late in the day because I have a phenomenon that happens after the cold. So my body gets chilled out in the ice bath. So let's see what my current body temperature is, and we'll tell you exactly what's happening. I'm about 15 minutes out of the ice bath now. Okay, so it's 99 degrees. So before I got in, it was 98.3 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is where the body is warming itself up. So 99 degrees, I have warming my body up. My hands are all the way back. They were pretty numb. My toes are back. I'm pretty warm. Here I am 15 minutes post 32 degree ice bath. The reason I'm warm is brown fat activation. There's a lot of things that warm you up. I don't shiver anymore. I've talked about that before. I've even got a fan on above me, and I'm still not shivering even with a fan blowing right on me. So if you got a shiver response, that would also be something that would warm you up. So I'm in the warm up phase. My body over the next hour will slowly start to drop in temperature. And I've shown this on my Instagram stories. An hour after being in an ice bath, I could see a 97.1. I mean, my body will drop significantly in temperature, and it's that drop in the body temp, core body temp, that will help you sleep deeper. So I do them late in the day because I get incredibly sleepy when I do them. I recently did an 8 a.m. Cold challenge. It was still cold outside. I think it was like 24 degrees, and I stood out there for 30 minutes. I was in the ice bath for about 3.5 minutes, and I did that in the morning time. Well, by that afternoon, like early afternoon, like 3 o'clock, I started really feeling sleepy. And by 3:30, I was in the bed, asleep, because of the impact. There's some kind of hormones that get turned on in me that make me more tired. And I ended up actually going to bed at 3:30. I was wide awake at like 10 o'clock that night, up for about 5 hours, and then back to sleep. And you guys that follow my work, you know I have this biphasic segmented sleep anyway, where I sleep for a few hours, up for a few hours, and go back to sleep for a few more hours. And so, yeah, that's why I do it in the afternoon. More prudence than anything. I do know people that do them in the mornings, and so I know my friend Mike Mutzel likes to do about 1 to 2 minutes in the morning and then 1 to 2 minutes in the evening. I have done short stints in the ice bath early in the day, something like 45 to 60 seconds, and I do pretty good tolerating 45 to 60 seconds in the ice bath if I do a morning jaunt in there. I don't do that all the time, but it is definitely something that if I'm a little bit frazzled and I want to like relieve some stress and the breath work isn't cutting it, I'll just pop in there real quick. I'll pop in there, about 20, 30 seconds, and then I'll dip my head under for another 15 to 20 seconds, come back up, and then get out. And I'm just like, yeah, time to go take on the day. Maybe I should start a ritual before I do a podcast. Come take a 1-minute dip in the ice bath. That would be fun. It'd be an interesting experiment to do that for a period of time, just to see if it helps with any of the cognitive, although I don't think I struggle when I do podcasts. And so Angela's here, Carnivore Runner's here, Hank is here, Leon is here, Trina's here. Thank you guys all for showing up here on day number 83. Yeah, doing it, man. Doing it. And I don't show any signs of slowing down. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Cherish says, yes, yes, it would. Would love to see that. Yes. Yes. So guys, I am planning on, I mentioned this on yesterday's, but I want to mention it a few times. I am going away from my podcast in the month of May. I have learned that I am a workaholic, and I will go myself until I run myself into the ground. This is why I went away on sabbatical a couple of years ago. So I'm trying to prevent that. So the whole month of May, I'm going away from my podcast work, which I do 4 shows a week, which includes recording interviews, includes airing the interviews. It's a lot. And so I want to use that extra time to start working on a book about cold therapy. So I've been really ruminating on a lot of the thought ideas. I want to do kind of this cold therapy clarity. So you take my spin of what I did with cholesterol and keto and do it with cold therapy, and get like experts that would chime in about the benefits, and write it in my very, I guess, down to earth level. That's the way I write. A lot of people like that. So that's what I plan to do in the month of May. I will still do the ice bath videos, so I will still be here doing those. I think I have one interview set up in that month because it's a big name. I'm going to interview her. She'll be the one interview that I do in the month of May. Dr. Terry Walls just accepted my invitation to come on my podcast. So she's like, I can do it in May and whatever it is. I'm like, okay, yes. And so when Terry Walls says she can do an interview, you do it when she wants to do it. So rest is an important biohack. Thank you. I agree. I think it is a devalued aspect of your health journey is learning to rest. In fact, this afternoon, I was tired. I had a podcast at 1, and I was doing some work, and I was getting kind of sleepy and heavy. And so I was like, let me go lay down around 3 o'clock or so. And I ended up sleeping for 40 minutes, a good little power nap. And it was great. and I got rejuvenated to be able to do this ice bath. Leslie says, fascinating book idea. I'd say most people don't understand brown fat and how we lose it as we age. Yes, Leslie, you're right. And definitely we'll talk about brown fat. We'll talk about all of the various aspects of cold therapy, why you do it, what the experts say about it. They're all worried about hypothermia. They're worried about like your heart issues and all this stuff. So we'll address all of those things. I'm going to try to get some of the big names in the cold therapy community, the biggest being Wim Hof. He's a hard guy to catch, and I don't know how interested he would be in a pissant like me that's writing a book about cold therapy. But anyway, I know enough of the people in the space that I can definitely do enough even without Wim Hof's input. But I will obviously mention Wim because I think he's done some phenomenal work. I hear he's got a documentary film coming out about him later this year that's supposed to be a big release. All about his journey with cold. Mayhem Mama's here. M. Shea is here. All right, guys, let me pop off of here for now. Thank you so much for joining me here on day number 83. As always, if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, or even here on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. I do go live at 5 p.m. every single day, getting into a 32-degree ice bath for 5 minutes, just like Leticia just got here. Hello, my dear. And so come here, come live, watch the videos. You get to see this big boy put his body into a big vat of ice. I become a beer for 5 minutes every single day, hanging out in the cooler, just saying, all right, let's get cold. And I breathe in the process. So thank you guys so much for gracing me with your presence, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye, everyone.